As the 2024 AFLW season is about to begin, it's time to celebrate what's going to be the best season to date. Last year, Brisbane won the big one against North Melbourne in a thrilling contest. But this year, the race is wide open. Will we see the Brisbane Lions go back-to-back? Or will we see a new team race a cup at the end of the season? Will we see a side like the Saints go from out of the 8 to winning the big one? Patrikios, Watson, Xenos, Wardlaw, Vesely and Smith will have something to say. Or will it be North Melbourne, a side filled with stars from experience? 2 young guns, Garner, Birch, Ferguson, Gatt, Tripodi, Eddie, Martin and O'Shea. Or is it the Demons? 5 experienced players go out, but young stars like Bassano, Witherspoon and co will have an impact. And of course, star trio Horse, Zanker and Mithun have something to say about this year's flag race after last year's disappointment. Can the young dogs rise up to the occasion? New coach, new players, new leaders. Sometimes change comes in a good way. Blackburn gets some support in the team via young stars Greg Butterfint and Chrissy Lee Turner. And new recruits ready to prove a point in Smith, Arends and McKee. Or can a team filled with young stars at Port Adelaide who dominated this year's draft, bringing in Young, Goody, Window, Brook and Brooksby, surprise us all? Stars in this competition galore, headlined, just to name a few, Conti, Garner, Marinoff, Gardner, Too Good, the Prosparka sisters, Malloy, O'Driscoll, Patrikios and Dawes. We can't also forget the future of this competition. Loz Young, Charlie Rowbottom, Sinead Goody, Ella Roberts, Charlie Thomas, Brenna Tarrant, Sophia Hurley, Alicia Pisano, Elaine Grigg, Ali Morford, Holly Cooper, Ali Dalloway, Ella Heads, Matilda Schultz, and of course last year's Rising Star winner, Zali Goldsworthy. So many talented players ready to have insane seasons. I know I'm excited. Are you? Welcome to season 2024 of the AFLW. Let's go!
Let's go! We always stand for victory. It's always been the whole of the world. We're the Jim Cole. Go Lions, it's Lions. We'll kick the winning score. We'll hear the money roll.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Scoops AFLW show. I'm your host, Cooper, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumors, and results. Now, you're looking at this picture. It looks different, right? Scoop, did you change your background? No. Now, when this airs, it'll be a Monday. So I've been in Perth. There you go. That's where I've been. You've probably been wondering, how come you weren't at the Saints AFLW game on Saturday? Why weren't you at one of the Victorian games on the Sunday? Why didn't you go to Winton Oval on Friday? That's why. Now, as of this recording, you wouldn't have seen all the footage that will be released. There'll be some content with Waffle W girls in a form of a goal kicking challenge, which is going to be awesome. You'll see an event I went to at one of the Waffle W clubs, at a mental health event. You'll see that throughout the week as well. I've got all the podcasts, got all the vlogs. I attended the West Coast Brisbane game in Perth at Mineral Resources Park. So you'll see that matchday vlog. If it's not out already, you'll see it very shortly throughout this week. There's so many videos I've had planned, are already locked and loaded to go. And yeah, now this round in the AFLW, had some surprise results in terms of the margins, some teams that won, some teams that were very disappointing, including my Saints. You beat 3 finalists from last year in Essendon, Sydney and Gold Coast, and in convincing fashion in pretty much all of them, and for the majority of each quarter of each 3 games prior to this Hawthorn one. This Hawthorn game, I don't know what the hell we did. I really don't know what happened. Now, let me take the banner off a second. You can see the Scoops merch here. Yeah, that's if you're wondering what that top is, that's what it is. But yeah, the Saints were really disappointing against Hawthorn. I don't know what we can say. It was just bad. We'll go through each game. Obviously, the Swans had a good win over the Giants in the Battle of the Bridge. Brisbane were too good for the Bulldogs and West Coast. We're going to go through them all. I'm going to go through my team of the week, my AFLW Fantasy score, which was fantastic. Now I can reveal double points for certain teams that were playing the double game. So the Bulldogs, Brisbane, West Coast, and Collingwood. I believe off the top of my head, they were the 4 teams that played twice throughout this round. So if you had AFLW Fantasy, if you have it, you need to play some of those teams. See, that was the secret I was talking about last episode. I cannot tell you all. I just cannot reveal all my tactics. It's just as simple as that. But yeah, we're going to go through that. My script goes bang. My team of the week. AFLW Fantasy team. Review the rounds just gone and upcoming. And any news in between. Now, I'm recording this on a Sunday in Perth. So, number one, I can't be that loud. And two, what do you call it? So I don't know who the Rising Star winner is for this round, but congratulations to whomever that is. Whoever that is. I know some star young players have performed really well throughout the season so far. Caitlin Surhoy would be one off the top of my head. Sinead Goody, and 2 people that have got the Rising Star nominations in the first 3 rounds, along with Beth Schilling from the Eagles. This round, Evie Long played for Brisbane Sunday, and played all right, and played against Brisbane, did really well in that game. Will she get it this round? Will Christy Lee Weston Turner, the number 1 draft pick, get it after kicking 2 goals today in the win over the Pies for the Bulldogs? Will Elaine Grigg get it for 2 consistent games throughout this round? I believe it'd be one of those names off the top of my head. I can't remember everyone else, but I would say there'd be the names in conversation. But I have to say, regardless, congratulations to whoever it is. They would have deserved it. Now, obviously, too, being in Perth, being at the Eagles game today, Sunday. I keep saying today because it is today, but when you see this, it's not today. But you know what I mean. If I say today, I mean Sunday. So, yeah, got to meet a bunch of the Eagles girls who I know well, and same with the Brisbane girls. It's just great to build those connections up. And, I wore this top to the event, to the Eagles game. And, a few of them knew me that I didn't know that knew me off the back of this top alone. It's just great to meet a bunch of them again. You'll see the photos throughout the week. There's so much I've got. I don't know exactly which day each show will be published, or each post, or each photo album, or videos, goal kicking challenges, etc. I have my rough idea, but I don't want to say days if I don't put them on that day. Obviously, this has been aired on a Monday, most likely on a Monday or Tuesday. And then round 2 starts. So not round 2, round 5 of the AFLW starts on Tuesday night at Icon Park between Richmond and Port Adelaide. So, we've got a lot of things to go through, so let's get right to it. Now, if you want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. If you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees, or any state level players, and you'd like to see them on the podcast in a goal-kicking challenge or an interview, please send me a message to try and get something sorted. Now, one thing I do want to say is no one can ever question my commitment to women's footy and men's footy. I mean, if you were doubting me already, you were wrong, number 1. And 2, do you think me coming to WA makes you think that still? I came here the love of what I do. I came here because I got friends here in terms of players and that. And it's just good to catch up with some players that I know pretty well who may have met before or may not have met before in person. And to the West Perth Football Club too, to have some players in that team invite me to to the players at West Perth AFLW Football Club who invited me to the mental health event they had. they know who they are, greatly appreciated. They get individually recognised in the video and they did in person at the event. Group of people, very great event. And if you get the opportunity to go to one of those, I highly recommend you do so. 20 Talk was the crew, the two gentlemen there that were running it and they were part of the program. You know, go check them out on Instagram. It'll be greatly appreciated on their behalf as well. Now, for the first time ever, Scoops Goes Bang may not be loud because, as I said, I just said where I am and I ain't going to scream the place down. But please welcome the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Boom. Oh boy. It's been mentioned once before, but I'm going to say it again. It's a quarter length and the clock not stopping in certain portions of the game at certain times of the game. The quarter length needs to be the same as the men's. It's just plain and simple. It needs to be. If you're going to have it how it is, in terms of like when stoppage time and everything like that, it's going to be the same as the men's. Like, number one, the quarters should be the same length. But if they're not, and they're going to be what I just said, they need to be stoppage time. Like when the clock stops, it should stop. It should just stop when, it should stop. When there's a tackle in the field of play, when it goes out of bounds, the clock keeps going. The clock keeps going, and that shouldn't be the case. It should stop. And it doesn't. And it's really annoying me. Like, some quarters in the AFLW are going 17 minutes. Like, it should be going 23, 25. That's not the player's fault or anything. It's a competition that the clock should not continue to go when the ball is out of bounds, when the ball is out the full, when there's a tackle, stoppage. Like, the clock rarely stops, only when it's a goal. And maybe for an injury, maybe. So it's like, just fix it. It's easily fixable, so fix it. Like, it really annoys me that the competition do not fix this. To the AFL competition, the AFLW competition, people that are in charge of the rules, lift your game. Pathetic. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed that short, quieter edition of the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. I just told you where I am for about the third time now. I'm not going to scream the place down where I'm going to get a knock on the door about being too loud. Okay, don't want to knock on that door telling me I'm too loud and get kicked out because that's what you're wondering. Scoops, why are you getting angry? Well, the quarter lengths, that's why. I go, right, I'm sure that's what it was, but it is. I mean, you're watching this right now knowing that. But anyway, hope you guys and girls enjoyed that edition of the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Now, let's go through my Scoops round 4 AFLW team of the week. Love doing a team of the week. Now, also, you should know already, but my Scoops AFLW medal will be at the end of round 11 of the home and away season. So not round 11, round 12, I think. At the end of the home and away season, the end of the home and away season, before the week 1 final starts that week, will be my Scoops AFLW medal. I will not be revealing my votes on this show like I haven't throughout the whole season because I'll be doing that at the end of the year in a big extravaganza show, just like I did the Scoops medal for the men's. I will do the same for the women's. Now, I want to stress enough too that, as I just mentioned some teams earlier that played 2 games this week, it was hard to judge them. I'm like, okay, how do I pick the players that play the double games? Like, do I go like, oh, this player had 12 touches and then had 14 this game, that's 26? No, you can't do it like that. But if one of those players had the double game, had a really good standout game in one but was bad in the other, do I include them? I think you kind of do because they had a good game no matter what. So you can't really judge them off 2. You really go off 1, then you work from there. It was hard to do it. I've got a long list of emergencies again. But let's go through my team of the week for round 4 AFLW team of the week. Scoops, round 5. Scoops, round 4 AFLW team of the week. All right. From the back line, Charlie Thomas and Brenna Tarrant. BT. Half-back line, the flankers, Jade Allinger and Emma O'Driscoll. Centre-half back, Lauren Arenz. Wingers, Ash Riddell and Eliza McNamara. Centre woman, Jazz Garner. Half-forward line, the flankers, Sophie Conway and Alice O'Loughlin. Centre-half forward, Tay Smith. Forward line, Aisling Maloney and Greta Bodie. Ruck, Lucy Wales, Rovers, Ella Roberts and Mon Conti. Interchange, Ali Drennan, Mia King, Michaela Bowen, Laura Gardner and Cynthia Hamilton. Emergencies, Jazz Smith, Ruby Tripodi, Rebecca Beeson, Gabby O'Sullivan, Nat Grider, Charlie Rowbottom, Jack Perry, Darcy Maloney, Jessie Wardlaw, Maddie Newman, Isabel Pritchard and Gabby Newton. Now, reason for my selections. Let's get the banner off there for a second. Look, Charlie Thomas and BT Brenna Tarrant have both got to be locks at this point. Both getting high intercept possessions, 1%ers, rebound 50s, and decent amount of disposals at decent efficiency as well. I mean, those two sides will be in a lot of trouble without Charlie Thomas and BT Brenna Tarrant in the side. They both get the best forward like each week. They're both fantastic people who I've met numerous times. And that's not why they're in the team of the week, and that's not why I feel like they should be an All-Australian. If that's the case, I'd be having about 100,000 people in my All-Australian team at the end of the year if it's for nice people in the competition. But, Charlie and BT have been so damn good this year and previous seasons as well. If they're not in your All-Australian team right now, I don't know what you're doing. Jade Allinger, who I met at the game today, and I've met in the past, as you know, she's in my intro saying, let's go after the granny win. Jade could have kicked 3. She kicked 2 goals too. And Dakota Davison gave away a free. I was going to say spoiled the ball. She gave away an unnecessary free where Jade was kicking a goal. It was going through the goals. And before it got through the goals, Dakota dumped an Eagles play behind play. I believe it was Charlie Thomas. And I'm like, oh, why? Jade kicked a great running goal. And Dakota's just ruined a special moment. But Jade Allinger turned the game after quarter time. I got there at quarter time, and from then, Jade was just killing it. Her run off half back, I know she kicked 2 goals too. You probably think she played forward. She didn't. She played off the half back and pushed through the wing. Just pushed a high half back and was just, playing so damn well. I mean, she was probably Brisbane's best player, to be honest, in this game. And in the first game, she was pretty solid as well for Brisbane against the Bulldogs. Lauren Arenz was terrific in both games, had around 20 disposals in the game against the Brisbane Lions, had like 12 intercept possessions and like 7 today against the Pies. So, she was a lock. Emma O'Driscoll had 20 disposals against Melbourne. We've got a dangerous forward line with Zane Carr and Kate Hall when she's down there as well. So she did really well for the Dockers. Ash Riddell, 30 disposals and a goal. Same with Jazz Garner, 32. Do I need to say more with those two? They both get 30 each and every week. There'll be probably a lock for All-Australian again. Eliza McNamara. Eliza just does her work. 30 disposals, like 12 intercept possessions. Eliza's a very underrated winger, and I feel like she had a huge game on the weekend where Melbourne choked a 3-goal lead in the last quarter, which I'll be very annoyed about, the Demons. Sophie Conway kicked 1 goal, 5 today with 20 disposals, but not the week prior, the game prior in this round, she kicked 2 goals, 2 with 22 disposals and turned it in the Lions' favour in that game against the Dogs in the second or third quarter, and was a key standout in both games as well today, kicking 1 goal, 5. Sophie Conway. Tay Smith kicked 4 in the first game of the round, kicked 2 today early in the piece. Her game in the first round was a lock to get into this team. Alice O'Loughlin kicked 2 goals and 15 disposals. I thought Alice was stiff to be suspended in round 1 or 2. Didn't deserve that. She'd come back to the team. Like, she didn't miss a beat. Was fantastic, kicking 2 goals and 15 disposals and like 8 marks. Aisling Maloney kicked 4 goals in Geelong's huge win over the Suns. Greta Bodie kicked 6 for the Hawks against my Saints. Absolutely not good enough from the Saints. We'll get to that shortly. But Greta was great. Lucy Wells was great for the Hawks against the Saints. 22 disposals as a ruck. 20 disposals as a ruck, sorry. 22 hit-outs. Was phenomenal. Ella Roberts, I mean, I can't speak more highly of Ella as a person. Meeting her again today, she's just a fantastic person. But more importantly, she's a fantastic footballer as well. I mean, West Coast, if they were to miss Ella Roberts and Charlie Thomas, they may not win a game. That's how important both them two are, and both fantastic humans and fantastic players. Ella was talking to her before the game, just relishing playing at home in those conditions. She can play everywhere. She can play through the midfield. She can play through the back line. She can play as a backup ruck if need be, albeit ideally not. But she's so versatile. She'll do what she wants, do what she will for the team. Can't speak enough about how great Ella Roberts is as a footballer and person, as I said. Mon Conti, speaking of great people and great players, 33 disposals against Carlton. She tore them to shreds in her 50th game for the Tigers. Again, another person I can't speak highly of, there's someone in her position, where everyone knows who she is. She got time for everyone, and just a great player. And this game, she was awesome in game 50 as a Tiger, and a key contributor to why they smashed the Blues and kept them goalless. Ali Drennan, another one who I can't speak highly of, transitioned from the Suns to the Eagles. Again, a wonderful person. Again, more importantly, though, a great footballer, and it's fitted in really well for the Eagles. I talk about Ella Roberts and Charlie Thomas, but Ali's been a great addition to that side, and getting mid-20s, low 30s every game so far in the 5 games they've played. The key contributor to that midfield, who had 25 and 22 in both games against the Pies and the Lions, and deserved a spot. Mia King for the Roos had 20-odd disposals, had like 17 tackles, though, more importantly. And, I mean, when you have 17 tackles, you're a lock in each week. Michaela Bowen, you talk about people I can't speak highly of. I mean, basically everything I just said about Ella and Mon, you can say about Bowie. You've seen when I had Bowie on, on camera, say how much she loves what I do. And, to hear that, and for people to think that it's staged, it wasn't. I didn't know it was coming. She brought that up on her own accord. I met her at the Carlton game as well when they got beaten badly. It's just, really appreciative of these players to be so damn nice. And again, away from that, as a footballer, she was terrific on the weekend. 25 disposals and a big win over the Suns. I know Bowie would be pleased with that, and so were the Geelong girls. And Gold Coast, where to next? Do they need to change things up badly because they're in trouble? The Gold Coast Suns sitting second last, I believe, on 2 points after that draw against the Giants, so who are also struggling in their own right. So, Laura Garner, 32 disposals. She does what she does best, Laura, and being a star midfielder for the Swans. Cynthia Hamilton kicked 2 goals with 20 disposals. Another player who I feel is really underrated. I mean, there's games at times where, she's not killing it, but she doesn't need a lot of disposals, I feel like, Cynthia, to dominate a game. She played a bit more midfield today and looked to work for it, kicking 2 with 20 in their close win over the Giants. And then, Jess Smith was terrific in both games. Heading on this long list of emergencies is Jazz, Rebecca Beeson, Ruby Tripodi, Gabby O'Sullivan, Nat Grider, Charlie Rowbottom, Jack Parry, Darcy Maloney, Jessie Wardlaw, Maddie Newman, Isabel Pritchard, and Gabby Newton. I want to mention of these emergencies, the game of Maddie Newman and the season she's having. I mean, she's always been in the conversation for my team of the week. The week she hasn't got it, it's not because she's done bad. It's because other players in her position have just killed it even more. But Maddie Newman is killing it this year. She's had games where she's having 27 disposals for a medium-sized defender and having consistent 20s. She had that again on the weekend against the Bombers. And, you could say she's stiff, but Jade Allinger's game was awesome. Emma O'Driscoll had 20 and was terrific. BT and Charlie Thompson were locks. Lauren Lorenz was a lock. So you can blame that the competition doesn't have 23 players you can name because she was next choice easily for a defender, Maddie Newman. Ruby Chipote tackled and tackled and tackled. Gabby O'Sullivan kicked 3 goals. Rebecca Beeson had 10 clearances with 20 disposals, maybe 25. Jazz Smith, her pressure, in the forward line, but pushing up the ground as a high half forward. Even pushing in the midfield a little bit on the Brisbane game. Really close Jazz was to getting in this team. Alice O'Loughlin was probably the one that kept her out, but bloody hell, she was so close to making the team of the week. Charlie Rowbottom does what Charlie does, 25 disposals, 17 of those contested. Now, Grider was good off the halfback line today for the Brisbane Lions against the Eagles. Jack Parry kicked 3. Darcy Maloney had 20 disposals in the midfield brigade. At Geelong, did well. Jessie Wardlaw, 2 goals, 8 marks. St Kilda were bad, but she was very good and probably the only player that did well, to be honest. Isabel Pritchard had 28 and had 16 18 in the first game against Brisbane. Gabby Newton's game was really good today. Not today. Saturday for Freo over Melbourne with 20 disposals off the back line and through the wings, etc. Now, that's my team of the week. Let me know your thoughts down below. Ticket to Scoops merch. All right. Now, alrighty. So, that's my team of the week. Let me know your thoughts down below. All right. Now, let's go review the round 4 games. Shall we? Alrighty. So, the round 4 games, as I said, some teams had double games. So, Collingwood 19, West Coast 36. Collingwood kicked the first 2 goals of the game, and then it was all the Eagles from there. I mean, credit to the Eagles for having a great win over the Pies. I know the Pies are struggling, but West Coast away from home, this was part of their 2 games in Victoria. They beat the Bulldogs the game prior and beat the Pies. So it was a good trip for the girls at the Eagles in the end in Melbourne, which I attended both those games. And, and I watched them closely because I was at the game, as I said. They started slow in both games, but they were dominant in the next 2 games after that. Also, the game today against Brisbane was a different story, but we'll get to that later on. They were really good in this game against the Pies. Ella Roberts again, killing it. Charlie Thomas, killing it. Jade Britton was really good in this game. Jess Hosking was really good. Jess Hosking's there for 3 to 4 weeks with a calf injury. And Jade Britton had delayed concussions. Hopefully, they're both okay. But yeah, so they were terrific, the Eagles. I thought Georgie Cleaver in this game against the Pies, albeit missed an easy goal. I think it was at halftime, but it's taken her a little bit, I feel like, to get adjusted to the AFLW, doing netball and everything like that. I don't know how she managed that. Maybe that was a reason why it took her a little while to get into it, but, she's done really well for herself to get a game and contribute in that game, I thought, against the Pies in particular. Just trying to think. Yeah, Ali Drennan was terrific, as she always has been this year. Kelly Gibson, I thought, played her part as well. Now, for the Pies, in this game, they missed Tani White. They got it back for today's game against the Bulldogs, but, they obviously got it back. Now, the next game we're going to go through is Brisbane 81, West Bulldogs 34. In this game, the Bulldogs were bad. Brisbane were terrific from the start. Sophie Conway was great. Belle Dawes was really good as well. Can't forget her. But yeah, overall, Dakota Davison did not play in this game due to illness. She didn't play due to illness, but she played against the Eagles today. But yeah, See, it's hard talking about games that just happened for a team. They played a game a few days later because, normally you're assuming someone will come back or they may turn to a good game next game. But I'm talking about teams that played 2 games ago. That's the round we have. But yeah, Dakota Davison played a little bit down back today against the Eagles, by the way. If I forget to mention that, that's what she did. A little bit, I noticed that. Maybe this new role that Craig Sarsfield is getting Dakota to play a little bit of. But yeah, in this game, Taylor Smith kicked 4 goals. Ali Anderson was good. Kathy Spark was really good. Jade Ellinger, as I said. Courtney Hodder did really well. And Bree Conan, the skipper, did really well as well. The next game we're going to go through is Richmond and Carlton, 39-6. Richmond by 33. By the way, Carlton scored 0 goals, 6. The conditions were okay. So Carlton really have no one to blame but themselves. They're a side that I feel like will be on the decline. I was shocked when they beat Geelong to the level that they did. But yeah, credit to Richmond. Had a great start of the year. Besides that West Coast slip up in round 1. But yeah, great win for them. Mon Conti, Caitlin Greiser kicked 3. Tamara Luke started the game okay against the Pies. Against the Blues. Abby McKay done her part at times. Mimi Hill the same. Keely Shear was taking Mon Conti in the second half. Impacted her game a little bit, but Mon was still terrific in BOG. Best on ground. If you don't know what that means by now, you should know that. Yeah. You should know. But yeah, Mon was great. Sarah Hosking was really good in this game as well. Next game, Port Adelaide and North Melbourne. North Melbourne v Port at Whitten Oval, Friday night, 42-6. Port Adelaide did kick a goal through Julia Teakle, which was a nice goal too, by the way, might I add. The conditions in this game were horrendous. Bucketing rain for a lot of the game, wet ground, neutral venue for both as well. The Roots, it was Riddell, it was Garner, it was O'Loughlin, the same names that dominate. Emma Carney played a part down back. So the veteran defender. So Libby Birch moved across from Melbourne. Seems to be going okay at the moment. Had a bit of an injury recently as well. That was meant to be a bit longer than what it was. So maybe she's trying to find her groove back from the injury and a new team, a new system as well. But yeah, great win for the Roos and bad for the Power. Not a great week for the Power. Sorry, Port fans. I still like Port Adelaide, so yeah. Geelong and Gold Coast. Gold Coast 27, Geelong 96. What's happened, Gold Coast? You played finals last year. You played the Swans in the final. Or Essendon. No, Essendon was the last game in the home and away season. You fool. Sydney. What's happened? What's happened to Cam Joyce and the Suns? Charlie Robon's having a great season. Charlie Robon has been terrific. Claudia Whifford had a good game on the weekend. What's gone wrong? Jamie Stanton, Jordan Membry, Jack Dupay, 3 key senior figures down in that forward line. Been dropped. Jack Dupay, who's a good player. Jamie Stanton kicked the goal last week to tie the game after the siren, but before that hadn't done well this season so far. Jordan Membry, a good player who I've had on the podcast, a ripper person. But, she hasn't had a great start of the season also. So they're 3 key parts of their forward line. They've had Nivet, a draftee, goal on the weekends, and well done to her. Her debut goal. But what are they doing with this team? Vivian Saar, before she got injured, wasn't getting picked in round 1. I was a bit confused with Cam Joyce's selection as well. And now Vivian Saar's unfortunately injured. She's got she posted recently having a cast on her leg, so she's probably out for the rest of the season, unfortunately. But yeah, Cam Joyce and your selections have been a bit strange, mate. Darcy Davies, she's not playing ruck, she's playing up forward. What's to go there? Well, she's starting ruck each week. Lauren Bella's playing a bit more ruck. Does she need to go in the forward line? Does one of those two need to go out of the team? Does Jack Dupay need to come back in? Yes, she does. I don't know what Cam Joyce is doing with the Suns at the moment. I don't know what's gone wrong. They brought in a few new players. They did lose Bess Keeney who was a key part to their midfield stocks and experience. But Bess is a good player, but that shouldn't have changed too much in terms of how they would go, the Suns. But maybe she is a big loss, more than people thought. But, Alana G unfortunately done her ACL in the practice games. So it's like, what's gone wrong for the Suns? Everything seems to be going wrong, the Suns. But, I don't know. Geelong, on the other hand, were terrific. Maloney, Bowie, Michaela Bowen, that is. Jack Parry kicked 3. Aisling Maloney kicked 4. All went right for Geelong, and they needed to bounce back, and credit to them for doing so. The next game to go through is Fremantle 47, Melbourne 41. Melbourne were up by 18 points in the last quarter and lost it. Now, Lily Mithen played game 75. Congratulations to Lily Mithen on her milestone, a big milestone, and one that she would be proud of. But wouldn't be proud of that result in the end with Lily Mithen and the Melbourne girls. Like, what happened there? Aisling McCarthy, winning goal after the siren, about 35 minutes out on an angle, and she slotted it straight through the middle. Well done to her. But like, Melbourne, what the hell? What the hell? Freo didn't look like they were winning it at any point in the game, let alone in the last quarter. Gabby O'Sullivan kicked 3, and then Aisling McCarthy got the last goal. Emma O'Driscoll did well, and so did Gabby Newton. Like, what happened? Melbourne. Kate Hoare did really well. But there was a smother late in that game too. That was very important. Well, so we thought for the Melbourne Footy Club. I think it was Grace Hill, it may have been, but that didn't matter in the end because I was a Denby Taylor, I can't remember, but one of the newer players, and great efforts and everything like that. Like, Melbourne, what happened? I know Steiner, the coach, Mick, will not be happy with that. Like, you're not having a great start of the season. You beat Geelong in round 1 just. Great win in the end. But, like, the North Melbourne game, they got smashed. The Brisbane game, they lost convincingly. And then this game, they choked. Like, what's going on at Demonland? Obviously, is this Petrarca stuff really, and all this stuff with Kate Roffey resigning and all that, does this float onto the women's team as well? They did lose 5 key recruits, Libby Birch, Madison Gay, Charlotte Wilson, having a complete blank. They lost 5 players. Eliza West and Casey Sheriff, the Sheriff's in town. Eliza West, 2 key outs for their midfield and wing. Libby Birch, an experienced defender. Madison Gay can play through the midfield and through the back line. And Charlotte Wilson, a young key defender. So they lost a lot of players. And they haven't gained too much from a trade point of view. They drafted Alicia Pisano as a young star forward. Riley Witherspoon's playing up forward, a draftee. Brought in Lily Johnson from Port Adelaide, who hasn't played yet. Gemma Rajoni, who's been out with a groin injury as of late. We're back in a few weeks, I think. I've seen Melbourne say. But yeah, like, I don't know what's wrong with them at the moment. They've got to fix something. If they don't act fast, they're in trouble for the whole season because they're in the bottom 4 right now, I believe, Melbourne. And they're not going to like this game when they watch back the tape. But yeah, for Melbourne, though, Eliza McNamara, 31 disposals, 7 tackles was awesome. Shanae Goldrick, 1 goal, 21 disposals, 9 tackles. Holly has been Melbourne's best player this year with Kate Hoare as Shanae Goldrick. Eliza McNamara is doing well herself, but overall, Goldrick and Kate Hoare have been Melbourne's best 2 players for me as of right now. Yeah, disappointed other Demons. All right, the next game to go through is St Kilda and Hawthorn. St Kilda 17, Hawthorn 74. 57-point loss for the Saints. Greta Brody kicked 6. This is completely unacceptable, this performance. You're lucky I'm filming where I am. Otherwise, I'd be yelling right now. What the hell was that? Seriously. You've undone all your good work. Like, what the was that? I know the girls won't be happy with how they went, but that was pathetic. A lot of players with no effort. Like, what was that? Like, I'm speechless. What the fuck was that? Excuse my language, but that's what it was. It was pathetic. Del Santo should not be happy. It's just like, that is completely bad. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. Jesse Waller was really good, but did the rest even bother turning up? Serene Watson, sorry, I must add, Watto was good along with Jesse Waller, but the rest, what the hell was that? Pathetic. Like, I said this at the time that St Kilda didn't recruit well. They didn't bring in any big name recruits. They drafted one top draft pick in Kiara Wiley, who hasn't played yet, who maybe should get a game now off the back of that game, who was in Mersey this week. Like, what did you do? You're at home. Another big round for the Spud Frawley round. It's like, what the hell? I don't know what to say. I really don't. That better not happen again, a game like that. Like, you just ruined your percentage. You were first on the ladder at the end of the round, and now you're 7th. You would have been 3rd or 4th had you not got smashed. But now you're 7th. And the only percentage you're ahead of is West Coast on the same points. And you've got about 3 or 4 other teams on the same points above you. One about 80%. Now, that team losing could drop their percentage down another 50% the way the ladder is right now. So that's a concern, because now we need to smash a team again to get back up to that percentage, really, unless that team gets smashed, which I don't see a Brisbane or someone losing by 50 points to anyone. So we need to build that up. It's just unacceptable behaviour. Well, sorry, not behaviour, performance from the Saints girls, unfortunately. Hawthorn were 2 good, Bodie was 6. You know, Jess Fleming played a role. Yeah, it was just completely unacceptable for the Saints. Not more to say, to be honest. Adelaide 62, Essendon 29. Essendon were bad from start to finish. Adelaide were good. Anne Hatchard, Ebony Marinov, Maddie Newman, the same 3 that are dominating each and every week. Allen in the ruck, like 50 hitouts or 47 hitouts, which is amazing. Madison Gay was the only Essendon player probably that did well. And Georgia G, on return, had 15 disposals. But really, outside of those 2, did the rest even bother showing up? I know Maddie Pasparkas had 22 disposals, but, you know, I know Bonnie Too Good's out at the moment, but, like, you need to step up a bit more, Maddie, with your players out. And, I mean, you weren't bad today. You weren't bad. You were fine. But fine isn't good enough. You're the leader of that midfield. You need to, you know, set the standard there. She'll bounce back. She's a great player, but she's not having a great start of the season, if I'm being brutally honest. But neither is the team. The team's gone bad. And they show that again on the weekend. Collingwood 15, Western Bulldogs 57. Bulldogs got 42 points. You know, this would have been a game had it not been where I am that I would have gone to. And it would have been great to see for the Bulldogs people, you know, to probably not predicted to win a game and win like that. I know the Pies have got unavailability through the roof. I knew this was their opportunity to win a game, not just because of the Pies injuries. They've been building at the Bulldogs in patches. Basic skill errors they were stuffing up in the other rounds, which cost them, especially against the Eagles. You know, credit to them. I had a feeling they would win this, and they did. And credit to them. Happy for them. You know, Jazz Smith had a terrific game. Jazz Smith had a terrific game. 15 disposals, like 5 tackles. Played a role down forward and pushing up the ground as well. Tani White on return for the Pies did really well. Pritchard for the Dogs did well. Sarah Ingram played her first game for the Pies, so well on her. But Lucy Cronin was terrific. 20 disposals for a young key defender. You know what? Lucy Cronin would have to be a contender for the Rising Star. In fact, you know all those names I said earlier? I mentioned Evie Long and Piper Window, etc. Well, for this round, scratch their name off the list. It's Lucy Cronin's round for the Rising Star. If it's not, I will be absolutely gobsmacked. If that's not the case, if Lucy Cronin is not the round 4, if Lucy Cronin is not the 2024 round 4 NAB AFLW Rising Star nomination for this round, I will go crazy. She's having a terrific season. You know what? This might sound ridiculous from the outside. I'm sure the Pies people would agree with me here. Lucy Cronin would have to be leading the Pies best and fairest as of right now. I'm not even kidding. In fact, I would go as far to say that she would be in the top 2 for Rising Star winners right now with Shanae Goody and Caitlin Suhoy. So top 3, those 3 at the moment for me, off the top of my head. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, and I'll watch this back and go, why the hell did you not mention this person? But they're the 3, Suhoy, Goody, and Lucy Cronin for me. Easily right now. Easily. Terrific game. She may get 3 votes as well. Now that I say all this, I've just realised I didn't even have her in my team of the week. Oh boy. Well, wait. Just give me 10 seconds. I'm going to edit my team of the week. So, adding Lucy Cronin to this team means Emma O'Driscoll has unfortunately fallen out of the team. I mean, it's really harsh, but Lucy Cronin needs to be in this team. I can't give that pump up and then not have her in the team. And plus, I actually was going to have her in. I actually, for some reason, didn't have her name on this list, which clearly she was really good for the Pies. Lucy Cronin. For the next game, Sydney and GWS. Sydney 43, GWS 40. Zali Goldsworthy popped up with a few goals. Michaela Porga, unfortunately, may be under some MRO scrutiny after that dangerous sling tackle on Montana Ham. It actually looked really bad, but thankfully Montana Ham came back on the ground after having a HIA test, which could help Michaela Porga, and hopefully it does. But if she gets a week or 2, I won't be surprised. And to be honest, it was dangerous. And I feel like if it's 2, I think it's fair, unfortunately. You can't say I'm biased because I've had Michaela Porga on the podcast. She's a wonderful person, and she's a good player and everything like that. But the incident probably does deserve a week or 2. If it's 1 or none, I'm not going to complain either. Actually, I wouldn't complain, but I feel like if it's not 1, I'll be shocked to the point it probably deserves to be 1. But anything over 2 is ridiculous. She didn't mean to do it. It was just in the moment, it just unfortunately happened how it did. And thankfully, Montana Ham is okay. For the game, though, Cynthia Hamilton kicked 2 goals with 20 disposals. Laura Garner, 32 disposals. BT, Brenda Tarrant, 16 disposals, 10 intercept possessions. She's a star, BT. So is Laura Garner and Cynthia Hamilton. No Ali Morford in the ruck, so Giselle Davies was in the ruck with Alexia Hamilton. Both did really well. They beat Alicia O'Dowd, who's had a great start to her AFLW career, the Irish woman, doing well. Zali Goldsworthy was good for the Giants. Caitlin Suhoy again was terrific with 17 disposals, and 6 marks was Suhoy. And Rebecca Beeson, the captain, 25 disposals with 10 clearances and 6 tackles and 5 marks, deserved a spot in the team of the week. So that's that. And the last game to go through. Oh, by the way, Alicia Newman played her first game for the Giants. One on her. Finally got a game and did okay. The last game, which is the game I attended, West Coast 16, Brisbane 61, 45-point victory to the Lions. The Eagles 22-0 at quarter time. Last quarter, they kicked their first few goals through Sarah Lackey and Kelly Gibson, I think, at the top of my head. And they did okay in the last quarter, but I think the Lions just gave up and weren't that interested in terms of the margin and stuff like that. Charlie Thomas was terrific. Ella Roberts was awesome. For Brisbane, it was Jade Ellinger. It was Lily Postlethwaite. It was Baldors. It was Courtney Hodder. there's players like that did really well for the Brisbane Lions. But yeah, that's round 4 review games. Spoke a while there, but a lot of games in this round. Let's preview the round 5 games. Start on Tuesday night at 7:15 Victorian time. It's Richmond hosting Port Adelaide Icon Park. I'll be tipping Richmond in this one by 22 points. West Coast, no, not West Coast, Wednesday, Saturday night. Wednesday, 7:15 at Icon Park again. It's Carlton hosting North Melbourne. I'll be tipping North Melbourne in this one by 45 points. Thursday night at GMHBA, 7:15 Victorian time. It's Geelong hosting Hawthorn. I'll be tipping. I'm tipping Hawthorn in this one by 1 point. I think they'll just get the win there. The next game is all those Friday games. Hang on. We're up to the Friday ones. Yes, we are. Friday, 12:05 a.m. Friday, 12:05 p.m. at the Swinburne Centre, which is Pun Road, Richmond's ground. It's Collingwood hosting Gold Coast. I'll be tipping Gold Coast in this one by 20 points. Gold Coast, this is the chance of both sides, 18th v 17th, to get a win on the board. Because Gold Coast only had the draw and the Pies have been smashed. I think the Suns will win this, but not convincingly the way they're going. But I think they'll win, though, by 20 points. Essendon v Melbourne, 2:05 on Friday at Windy Hill. I'll be tipping Melbourne in this one by 10 points to bounce back. Saturday, not Saturday, you fool. Friday, 4:05 p.m. at Moorabbin. It's the Saints hosting Freo. I'll be backing in my Saints girls to get the win here by 4 points. 4 points. Western Bulldogs hosting Sydney at Winton Oval Friday night, 7:15 Victorian time. I'll be tipping the Swans in this one by 15 points and win a few in a row. No games on Saturday due to the AFL Grand Final. Sunday, 1:05 p.m. at UTAS Stadium in Launceston in Tassie. North Melbourne hosting Richmond. I'll be tipping the Roos in this one by 12 points. 3:05 p.m. at Brighton Homes Arena. It's Brisbane hosting Adelaide. A big game here. This will be awesome. I'm tipping the Brisbane Lions by 1 point in this one. I'm so tempted to choose Adelaide, but I've chosen the Brisbane Lions. GWS hosting West Coast at Henson Park in Sydney. 3:05 p.m. Victorian time. I'll be tipping the Giants in this one by 1 point. In fact, to make that... No, you know what? I want to give the Eagles a go here. I'm giving the Eagles a go here. The Eagles by 1 point. No, screw it. West Coast by 10 points. Final game to go through for round 5 of the AFLW. It's Port Adelaide hosting Carlton. 5:05 p.m. at Alberton Oval in Adelaide. That's Victorian time. I'll be tipping what Carlton turns up. The one that beat Geelong or the crap that played Richmond. I'm tipping the Power at home by 5 points. Remember the Scoops merch? If you haven't got it so far, go and do so. Well, you can't. Because it's exclusive merch only for certain people. Maybe if the demand is high, maybe I might bring it back, but you're going to have to want it. Now, my final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone a birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees or any State League players and you'd like to see them on my podcast in a goal-kicking challenge or an interview, please do send me a message and we'll try and get something sorted. Thank you very much for tuning into this episode. The whole week of content will continue. There'll be so much, maybe every day. There might be even a couple of things each day. Not each day, but like there might be 2 videos one day, say Monday, Wednesday. It's going to be a big week on the channel. Please subscribe, like if you haven't already. Want to aim for 20 likes for each and every video we do at the bare minimum. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Once we hit 3K, we'll do some more surprises for you all. Or prizes. Thank you all. The most important thing of all to remember is go the Saints. And of course, acknowledge me, the one and all aboard the Saints train. Then, now, forever, together. Go Saints.